Microdose, yeah. Microdose, 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 dose. Microdose, microdose, dose. Microdose, microdose, dose.
What's good, y'all? Kush Hayes here, coming to you with a new edition of the Microdose. For all my San Francisco listeners and all my San Francisco Giants fans, happy home opening day. You know I am there today. What I'm doing, I can't tell you that. It's a big secret, but maybe I'll tell you later. But be rest assured, I am there to see the Kansas City Royals lose to the San Francisco Giants for the next 3 days, and I could not be more happier. Only thing that makes me happier is welcoming back funniest man in the room, the CEO of Angelcake Entertainment, Drew Angelman. What's good, yo?
What's good is being here and getting to talk about movies and more movies because, I'm excited. I'm excited for some movies this upcoming month, but I'm also excited to hear what you've watched and maybe go over a small recap of anything good that we've seen in the past 3 months, first quarter.
Yeah, man, everything's been so crazy the last couple of days, last couple of weeks even, that I neglected to listen to our first quarter excited what we were anticipating in the first quarter. And I think we talked about like Megan and Cocaine Bear came up, I'm pretty sure. Creed 3. FYI, loved all of them. It was an embarrassment of riches this first quarter. Like, we just ended last week with Dungeons and Dragons. Guess what? Fucking loved it. Like, I've never played the game once in my life. I didn't see the movie from 22 years ago, but this I was all in on. And, movies got a little lengthy, but I was just like, I want to see this again. So, worst movie I saw was like Ant-Man 3. I don't know about you, Drew. I don't know what you saw that like was anything like you just like, oh my God. Sure, we loved Cocaine Bear, but this stood out so much more.
Sadly, I didn't get to see Cocaine Bear. I did go see Megan, which was a thrill. I really enjoyed that movie. I just came off of recently watching John Wick 4, which I was worried about just for the pure volume and length of that movie.
Oof, yes.
I was worried about how could they fill 3 hours of somebody going pew pew in different stages and different places and make it as compelling as the first time. And I'll be honest, it was good. It wrapped it up. It was well done. I don't think it was the best John Wick movie, but I was happy with it. Like, I wasn't like sitting in my movie theater seat just being like, when will it be over? My gosh, please. I mean, it was actually really, really decent. Knock at the Cabin, fine. It was decent. It's now on Peacock, so it's fine. The one movie that I haven't gotten to see at the theaters yet, and I'm a little upset about myself, is Scream 6.
Okay.
That would be a normal movie I'd be running out to go see, but I've just been kind of busy that I feel like I've been lacking on the first quarter of movies. And now we're going to be talking about the second quarter of movies, and I feel like I'm just going to keep running out of time because only a handful of movies are getting me excited for these second quarter movies. I guess I'm just waiting for the real summer months to really jump in.
Yeah, man. Well, so I was absolutely surprised with Scream 6. Again, I enjoyed that one. Spoiler alert or non-spoiler alert, my prediction was completely wrong. So that's all I will say about that if you do or don't remember that. Cocaine Bear is, again, a lot of fun. John Wick 4. Yeah, maybe the second worst movie I saw this quarter. Honestly, it's a very great looking movie. Not a good looking movie. It's a great looking movie. The stunts are top notch, but it is 3 hours long. It's overkill. And after he's killed 150 people in the first 10 minutes, I'm kind of spent, honestly. It's also mean. Like, I remember this movie is, about the most realistic stunts we can get away with, but like at one point they just throw a guy down a set of escalators. Like, he's got all the body armor on and all that. That's great, but like it's just like, oh, that's the most painful thing I've ever seen. Like, and John Wick like takes a tumble down like marble steps or whatever. It was like, it's an escalator, bro. Like, and like there's no context for it. Like, you literally just the flat shot on an escalator and the guy going like, and it's hard. It's yeah. So again, it's a good looking movie, but it was exhausting for me in all the negative ways.
Yeah, the last movie that I didn't get to mention was Creed 3. I think that was the best movie I saw in the opening quarter. I thought that was really compelling. I loved the script. Some things didn't make sense, but overall, I really enjoyed myself at the theater. And
Okay.
it was also like I go to the movies at a random times. I don't like to go to movies when they first come out. I like to go on a weekday at like 2 in the afternoon.
Mhm.
And before the summer, I can get away with this of having like the whole theater to myself, and I enjoyed it. Like John Wick was fine, but the 3 hours plus a pretty packed crowd on its opening weekend just wasn't super fun for me.
Mhm.
Especially with people trying to take seats from other people and all this other stuff, and people having to jockey
Gotcha.
for seats and everything. So, I mean, I really liked on Friday when I went to go see Creed 3, and I had a couple of people in the crowd, but it was like fun crowd. It was like when I went to go see Jackass 4,
Mhm.
and there was just people in the theater, but it was nice having people in the theater to laugh along with you. And
Mhm.
it was just an enjoyable feature with having people around watching Creed 3. So, yeah, overall, Creed 3 was my number one ace from the first quarter.
Mhm. I think I've mentioned this before. We're in a weird predicament now where like the summer movie season starts in April. And as of 2 days ago, the Super Mario Brothers movie comes out. I will have seen it when this episode releases. I have not seen it as we record. I'm looking forward to it. I have not given a shit about like why aren't they let the video game actors do like let the video game guys make the video games, let the movie guys make the movies, and don't worry about anything else. And if you don't want to see the movie, don't see. Chris Pratt's voice annoys you that much. Don't see the fucking movie, and don't hate watch the movie. Like it's 15 months of this shit we've been dealing with Drew Angelman. It's monotonous. But going into the second quarter, I'm just going to start this off, man. I'm one of my favorite movies from the first quarter was Guy Ritchie's Operation Fortune. And as I'm getting ready to watch Operation Fortune, we're sitting through Newbie and we're sitting through trailers, and all of a sudden, the trailer comes up, and we are being blessed with another Guy Ritchie movie in 3 weeks. Like, I was just like, where has he found the time to make these? So, this is the title Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. It's rated R. Comes out April
Mm.
21st from STX Entertainment, which seems to be his favorite distributor these days. And Jake Gyllenhaal, a gentleman named Dar Salim, who's a big player in this, at least per the trailers, Johnny Lee Miller, and Alexander Ludwig. But U.S. Army Sergeant Jake Gyllenhaal must rescue Ahmed, that's Dar Salim, the Afghan interpreter, to repay a life debt because they were in Afghanistan together and shit went sideways and he saved him, but now he's in trouble. And I think it's kind of like Rambo 2, maybe. It's Jake Gyllenhaal. It's Guy Ritchie. It's written by Guy Ritchie and his man Marin Davies. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this guy has actually been a part of the last 4 Guy Ritchie movies: Aladdin, Wrath of Man, The Gentleman, and even Operation Fortune. All fucking hits in my book. So I am looking forward to Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. It's going to be a hard R too, y'all.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I remember seeing this movie. It's funny that you bring up Operation Fortune because when my old podcast, Box Office Party, was up, we actually did a delay pool where at the beginning of the year, because we were coming back in 2022 and movies were slowly coming back. And there was a ton of movies that we were talking about through the beginning of the year. And then we decided to pick movies throughout the year to see if they would be delayed. And you get a point if a movie was pushed back or even moved up or anything.
Mhm.
And Operation Fortune was one of the movies I picked. And so that movie was like in the canister already done, I think by 2020, 2021.
Oh, wow.
And so it had a release date for a while. And then they finally just found time to dump it. So I think they've been sitting on that one for so long and didn't know when to put it out there. And they just so happened to put it out just slightly before another Guy Ritchie movie. This one actually looks really good to the point where I didn't know it was actually a GuyRitchie movie.
Yeah. Right?
Until I saw what like through the trailer. I was like,
Because
whoa,
it looks hard and gritty and cold. And it looks like a war movie. And you're like, what the fuck is going on here? This doesn't look like a Guy Ritchie movie.
It looks like a Mark Wahlberg, Michael Bay movie, like
Ooh,
The
good
Lone
call.
Survivor or something. Those
yes.
like all those movies that he did in a row. It just seemed like that kind of style. And then to know it was Guy Ritchie, I was like, okay, then I mean, whoa.
So dig this. So The Gentleman was one of the last movies I saw pre-pandemic. It wasn't the last, but it was one of the last, and I enjoyed it. And was I've seen it several times on Netflix. It's a charming, fun movie. First movie I saw in the pandemic. 420 days later. That was not intentional. That just happened to happen. And I saw Wrath of Man. So where do you think Operation Fortune was? Do you think Operation Fortune was completed before Wrath of Man? Because I mean, it's still got same, Josh so and so's in both of those movies.
I think it was done. It was probably done close to or around that time of
Okay.
Wrath of Man. And then, yeah, I think with Guy Ritchie's name and Jason Statham and him being in like the Fast and Furious franchise now and having like a resurgence, and
Hmm.
the Operation Fortune had a really actually decent cast. It had Aubrey
Yeah,
Plaza in it
she's
as
great.
well, and yeah, so I mean, I think that they wanted to cash in on that movie as soon as like as much as possible, and that's why they delayed it so long. Whereas the Wrath of Man, I think, is just a cash grab. It's just like whatever, just try to salvage it as much
Well,
as possible.
Wrath of Man felt like a COVID project where it was like, we can only do so much within 6 feet of each other. I got some drone shots coming up. Like we can make this movie, but it'll be, at a disadvantage. Whereas, Operation Fortune feels like it's free and everyone's very close. Like it feels like there's no protocols involved. Like they're just making a fun, I guess it was a heist movie, but anyway. So thanks to Operation Fortune, I know about The Covenant. Excuse me, Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. You got to say the whole thing. And yeah, that's April 21st.
Nice, nice, nice.
What you got, Drew?
Now I'm so this is a movie that I was surprised is even coming out, because I didn't know about it until the last weekend or the weekend prior that I went to go see John Wick 4.
Hmm.
And this movie is coming out on April 14th, which kind of blew me away that it was coming out this soon and I haven't heard anything about it. It's one of my favorite directors from Ari Aster. It's called Beau is Afraid.
Oh, I've seen the
And
trailer for this. This looks fascinating.
this looks so wild. It gives you Misery vibes, but also with the intensity that Ari Aster will give to you. It stars Joaquin Phoenix, which just seems perfect.
Hmm.
With like after you watch like his other movies of Hereditary with Toni Collette and Midsommar with Florence Pugh, and then you have Joaquin Phoenix, like you couldn't ask for a better like cast of characters to start like 3 movies for you. And it gives you the vibe of just like off the wall, wacky, weird Misery, but meets just psychotic kind of imagery. When I was watching all the previews, I kept on going pass, pass, pass. And then all of a sudden I saw Ari Aster's name and then Joaquin Phoenix pop on my screen. And I'm like, now I'm intrigued. A24, you have my attention, and I just can't wait to see this. It looks so original. I don't know if it's going to be good, but Ari Aster has proven that he can make whatever, and I will watch it at least. And I love Hereditary, and Midsommar is like one of my all-time favorite movies at this moment. So sign me up for Beau is Not Afraid on April 14th. Also going to probably be a hard R as well.
Oh yeah, I'm positive that's a hard R. I gotta say, Ari Aster is that dude where I was just like, he makes a very good film. The only movie I've seen of his is Hereditary, actually, and that's one of those movies where like I wasn't creeped out by it, I wasn't scared by it, but like I left bummed. Just like, ah, mental
Yeah.
illness is real, yo. Um, and when I saw the trailer for this, I felt like Ari Aster's trying to make a Wes Anderson movie, but as Ari Aster. Are you hear what I'm saying? Like it's this shouldn't be a knock by any means, but I'm just like, oh, he's trying to make something just like if Asteroid City, which isn't on my list here, but is coming out in our next quarter, if that was a horror movie, that would be it. Like
Yeah.
that's what it looks like to me. But yeah, I'm excited. There's a lot of movies coming out on I want to say April 14th, maybe even April 21st. Like there's we get a couple of weeks in April where it's just like everything that you might want to see that may or may not have made our list just gets hit at you, and if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. Yeah, this one looks very interesting. It's definitely going to be on my list to see. If we see it, I don't know, but I expect it to be pretty intense.
I
So
hope so. I mean, it definitely has like a cast of characters like I wasn't expecting. Like it has gosh, the woman from The Office that goes off and marries Steve Carell. Like when I saw her
yeah,
in the movie, I was like, "What? What are we doing now?" And then to see her like I don't know, kind of get like blood on her and like screaming, I was like, "All right, defying my expectations. Let's go," kind of thing. So I'm ready. Like if they had pre-sale tickets, I know probably nobody's gonna be flocking to the theaters to see this, but I would buy my ticket now, right
is
now, and
this
go see it
is this
now.
also an A24 film?
Yes, it is.
That opening screening will have its core A24 Ari Aster fanatics, and then everything else will be just word of mouth and casual spectating. But that opening night will be pretty intense. Like that'll be an A24 event. I'm walking 1 week later, a full 7 days, man, and PG-13's Polite Society. This is written and directed by Nita Manzoor. This is about a young Indian woman living in England, or at least the United Kingdom, and she's just a cinema dork, and she wants to be a stunt woman. So her and her sister got to set up a video camera, and they just do stunts all day long. And eventually, this older sister is going to get married, but it's to an evil family. Like maybe the boyfriend's okay, but mom, the mother-in-law, she's not going to be cool. And this whole fantasy action scenario happens, and it stars Priya Kansara, Rita Araya, and playing the evil Mrs. Nawaz. If I said that correctly, I probably butchered it. Renu Brindle, and again, written and directed by Nita Manzoor. Polite Society. I've only seen the trailer a few times. It's one of those things where I was like, oh, I wish we could see this trailer more, but that's not how marketing works. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Polite Society. It's out of the UK, much like Guy Ritchie, and Focus Features got the US distribution on it. Universal will do the rest of the world.
I am so glad you brought this movie up because I saw the trailer for this movie once and
Looks like fun, right?
I it looked amazing. It looked so charming.
Mhm.
It looked fun. It looked like it kind of gave me, I don't know, like I don't want to like make too many comparisons to it, but it kind of gave me like a Scott Pilgrim versus the World kind of vibe with
Okay,
the
I think that's
fighting
fair.
techniques and kind of everybody doing their thing. And it just seemed really funny, charming, and again, I'll just say it original to the point where I hate that I've only seen the trailer once because that means either I'm not seeing the movies that they think people like me would want to go see this, which I do want to go see this, or they're just not putting that much marketing into it, which is gonna bum me out because I don't think this movie will do well if it's not getting seen at least in the trailers or anything for the movies. But I'm so glad you brought this up because I kind of forgot what the name of it was because I saw it way back when one time. I can't remember. Was it? I can't remember what movie I went to go see, and maybe
I
it
want
was
to say I
Megan.
saw it with Black Adam, and then I definitely saw it with John Wick 4. I'm surprised you didn't.
I didn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's so
weird.
surprising.
So, I mean, despite the fact that everyone's speaking English, this is technically a foreign film. Like it's a United Kingdom picture. So it's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up. Like it's not going to get much love. It should, based on the trailer alone, it should get all the love. But, like everyone's going to go see Fast X, or they're going to go see The Flash, or they're going to go see some Indiana Jones 5. And hey, hats off to all of you. And it's one of the reasons why I haven't mentioned any of those three before that example.
Well, now that you did, we can talk about them. um,
What you got, Drew
Now we
Angelman?
talked before getting onto the mic that I really didn't find anything in May that I really wanted to go see. I mean,
Okay.
I'm even looking right now and I'm still not finding too much. I mean, you got The Little Mermaid, which is
Mhm.
not really tailor made for me because I'm not a young
Are you not a
kid.
12-year-old girl?
I'm not a 12-year-old. I didn't even like The Little Mermaid when I was growing up. I always
Oh,
watched like
oh.
The Lion King and Hercules and stuff.
There you go.
which was my ish.
Okay.
And then we also have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I am like on an MCU detox after the last like 14 years that we've been going ready steady on it. So I haven't watched or inhaled anything MCU this whole year, and I'm feeling great. I'll tell you right now, I'm feeling great. So the only movie I could find in May was Fast X because I have sunk pretty much my whole entire existence watching Fast and Furious movies from 1 through 9. And if you think I'm going to stop at Fast X, you're gravely mistaken, everybody, because they say, or they proclaim, this will be the last Fast and Furious movie. We'll see it.
That's
just in like, yeah, there's no
100% inaccurate because so Fast. I hate to have cut you off. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
No, go ahead.
Fast X is a 2-parter. We're getting, or at least it was when they started going into production. Like, there's going to be Fast X, and there's going to be Fast X Part 2.
I mean, technically, I guess that means it's the last movie, but whatever. I mean, even if there's going to be 3 parts to it, I'm still going to see this movie. My uncle loves these movies. He never has anybody to go to the movies with, so I'm going to go with him. We've gone to 7, 8, and 9 together. And so it's kind of like a tradition now whenever they announce it that we're going to find ourselves in the Dolby Theater watching this. Talk about, we didn't see the trailer to The Polite Society, is that movie called? We didn't see that in front of John Wick 4. We didn't even see a trailer for Fast X. All they showed were people like stepping out of the cars. And it was like, okay, I know all these people are in this movie, but why don't you just show the trailer? Like, you drop like 2 like already online. Why don't you just show the trailer? So that was weird to me.
That is weird. Since Fast X got mentioned, I'm glad that Fast X is on your list because I also love the Fast and Furious franchise. And it's one of those things where I was like, well, Fast 5 is the better one, but my favorite is personally Fast 6. 7 and 8 are fine. You and I both agreed on this. Fast 9 was so disappointing and just not good in all the worst ways. Like, it should have been great and it wasn't. But despite saying that, when the trailer for Fast X came out, I was like, I'm all in. But like, again, it's going to be a big blockbuster. It's going to get close to $1 billion. It's the only reason why it's not on my list, but I could not be more excited for Fast X. And I watched the trailer multiple times. I love them using the Notorious Thugs with the piano and just making it all slow and dramatic. So I can't wait for Fast X, dude. I wish I was going to be there with you and your uncle, and we'd be all high-fiving each other with all the ridiculous shit. So
basically, you just go there just to turn your brain off. Like, I could nitpick these movies for the end of time, but when you go, you know what you're going to paying for when you sit down to watch a Fast and Furious movie. So I found you get a bucket of popcorn, you're sitting there for 2.5 hours, you just shut your brain off and just go see cars zoom. That's all you see. See cars zoom, 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 and Dom Toretto wins for some reason. Let's go. You also have like 15 main characters now.
Yes.
Like, how can we have this is the thing. We have a movie franchise in its 10th installment with 15 main characters, and we're all just like, yeah, cool. Just take our money. We'll watch it. Whatever. Who cares? That person was dead. Not anymore. Doesn't make sense, but let's bring him back. Like, what now? Insane. I'm done.
So I love that they brought Han back. I hate how they brought him back. It was a terrible explanation. Do you think Gal Gadot comes back?
I think she would now. I mean, now that she has like no Wonder Woman stuff going on, like, yeah, why not just bring her back and just retcon it? You know, who cares? Who cares how you brought her back? Say you cloned her, and like at this point,
they could do it. They could do that.
This is like Days of Our Lives, but with like fast cars. This is just a giant soap opera blockbuster series at this point. Like, people are dying, coming back. People are having evil brothers that we've never heard of before. I mean, John Cena looks nothing like Dom Toretto and Vin Diesel. It's like, come on now. Charlize Theron's not in here. Brie Larson is here. Oh my gosh, what are we doing?
Do you think The Rock comes back in a scene where he doesn't have to be with Vin Diesel? or just nothing at all?
I don't think so. I think The
Okay.
Rock wouldn't stoop that low anymore. He's like,
Cool.
I'm too good for this.
That's fair. I cannot wait for Fast X. So I unfortunately have nothing for June. So my final pick is from Ketchup Entertainment on May 12th, written and directed by Robert Rodriguez. This stars Ben Affleck, William Fichtner, and Alice Braga, and it's called Hypnotic. It's a detective investigates a mystery involving his missing daughter and a secret government program. And did I say it was directed and written by Robert Rodriguez? Because this is going to be balls to the wall. I haven't seen a trailer yet. I was just like, no, this is the one I want. I can't wait to see this.
I've never even heard of this movie.
It's 20 minutes old in my subconscious as well.
Oh man. That's pretty good. I mean, I don't have much to add since I have no idea what this movie is.
That's okay.
But
That's okay. I hope we talk about it in June.
hopefully.
Yeah.
My last movie, which I guess we could talk about some of the other movies that we are not going to talk about, because June does have some movies in it that we could have talked about, like Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Whoever would be looking forward to that movie, I don't know. You also have a rated R dog movie called Strays, which just seems whatever.
That's going to be silly.
Yeah,
that'll be a big
silly
hit on Netflix or whatever streaming platform. Like,
oh yeah, definitely. There's a movie. I'm just gonna go through all the movies in June that looked interesting or could be noteworthy before I get to my actual movie. The Boogeyman, which was a trailer I saw right before John Wick 4, which actually looked pretty creepy.
They showed the trailer for that at Dungeons and Dragons, and there was like a lot of little kids there, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is a little intense." Like, what were you thinking? But yeah, I'm looking forward to Boogeyman too. I would check that out as well.
There were kids because I got one of the front rows next to the stairs when I went to go see John Wick 4. And so I got to see everybody walking in, and there was a good amount of kids in John Wick 4. Like parents brought in their kids, and then the Boogeyman came out. I'm like, yeah, that one. And then the Evil Dead Rises, which is going to be coming in.
They had, I mean, like that's the trailer for Evil Dead Rising is already a hard R, and you got little kids seeing John Wick. By the way, John Wick 4 was pretty kid friendly. Like again, people are getting shot in the brain and whatever, and there's some blood spatter, but everything was CGI on this one for John Wick 4. I felt it. Apparently, no one else gave a shit about it, but I was like, yeah, like I know we're trying to be safe. I sincerely appreciate that, but when you were using the real blanks or whatever, the squibs, it left an impact.
It was what was it? It definitely felt video game-esque. Yeah. Like kids could go see it, but they know it's not real. They're not like not like traumatized by anything of it. It's just like, oh, there's violence, they're gonna punch each other. They're not really there for the story because the plot is like yay big. It's only like an inch thick. And then the rest of the movie is just him fighting for 40 minutes at a time. And yeah, I think people could tell like it's not that. I mean, not that much.
It's so weird that people are still saying like this is the best one of the series, and like you go back to that first one, and sure, there's a high body count in the first John Wick, but there's also a scene where like he is struggling to stab a knife into his opponent's chest, and it's like it's really intense and it's kind of uncomfortable, and there's some gurgling sounds, and then it's topped off with a doorbell just to make you laugh, a tension breaker. But like in this one, he plays the drums by shooting somebody in the head. And by the way, it's again because it's all CGI, that drum never breaks. Bullets are flying through that guy's fucking helmet, never penetrates the drum whatsoever.
Yeah.
This coming from the guy who's like, I can't wait for Fast X.
Pixar has a new movie coming out called Elemental, which does not look good.
No,
it does not look good at all.
Okay.
Do you know what Elemental is?
I saw the trailer for it. It was like just a 90-second scene of like a drop of water getting on the subway, and then she meets a flame, and it's like, oh, it's like Romeo and Juliet, but it's the elements.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You got The Flash, which I can't believe is coming out.
Yeah, right. The Flash has been in production for like 8 years.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous. Like it was a long time.
DCEU is pretty much dead in the water. Ezra Miller was going through a lot of stuff, a lot of not good stuff,
and just being cunt in general.
And then DCEU is like, look, we've sunk a lot of money into this. We're gonna reboot it in the next 2 years, but we got to get recoup something of these $200 million that we put into all these movies.
Yeah,
and so you got that.
I'm conflicted about the Flash project again. I understand Ezra Miller might need to be on medication or whatever, but when he wasn't, he was a huge cunt, and I sincerely don't appreciate that. Like I saw some interview he did in the magazine. I don't know if it was Playboy or Maxim or Esquire or whatever, but I remember seeing him wearing the Playboy bunny ears and like the cocktail. He was dressed like a Playboy bunny. Are you following me here?
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember like he thinks he's being shocking by doing this or being titillating or being provocative or just controversial. And I was like, you're just coming off like a cunt, man. Like I don't know what kind of point you're making, but you're not making it. And then he went on to like strangle a chick and like slam someone with a chair in Hawaii, and then like the folks that bailed him out of jail just attacked them anyway. Like not a fan of this dude. Will I still see that movie? Yeah, I'm probably gonna still see it. Like we have to review movies, and I don't know. It doesn't look bad, and I keep hearing great things about it, but I'm not a fan of this dude. I hope he gets his problems sorted out, but yeah, he's off to a really bad start.
Yeah, he also had like grooming allegations brought up against him. So
yeah,
you can tell me how that movie is, because I'm definitely not going to see it.
So you're sitting it out? Okay, I respect that. I'm
pretty much like once I said MCU, I've had enough of you. I was pretty much done on the DCU train for a while now. After Wonder Woman 1984, I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm the one good property that you had, I'm pretty much out of. So I pretty much checked out of all superhero movies. Like they're still going to make $1 billion worldwide for years to come. It's just not going to be any of my money contributing to that. I'll wait till everything comes out to HBO Max or Disney Plus or whatever. You'll get my money there instead. And then finally, before we get to my movie, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. You thought we were done with Indiana Jones? He's back, baby.
I kind of wish we were.
Minus Shia.
Yeah, could not care less about this movie, dude. Or not care. I'm not a fan of this. If we want to do Indiana Jones movies, let's do some Indiana Jones movies, but I don't want to see Grandpa on the stage getting beat up by Nazis and pretending he can swing across a bridge. This is an unnecessary project, or at least unnecessary casting. I remember 25 years ago where, I don't remember if this is the correct name, but like, we want to do Indiana Jones movies, and we're thinking about this new young kid named Ben Affleck, and they're like, no, you can't. Indiana Jones is Harrison Ford or nothing. And then we got Indiana Jones 4, and you all were mad about it. Like even if it wasn't Ben Affleck, we could have got anybody else to play Indiana Jones. You could still have Indiana Jones, but I don't want to see old man Indiana Jones. I'm not excited about this project whatsoever.
I think I've seen the trailer once or twice, and I can't tell you what was in the trailer. I mean, that's how forgettable it was to me. I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan anyways. That's right. I remember watching the 4 movies back to back to back at the beginning of quarantine, and that was like one of the first times I've ever sat down and actually watched those movies fully throughout, because Joey and I did it for our old movie project before. And we like ranked them and talked about them and everything, but I couldn't tell you what happens in the trailer for Dial of Destiny. Like I'm so like checked out of that series. So yeah, I'm totally out of it. All right. The movie that I want to talk about for June is, of course, none other than Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. Okay. I've been waiting for this movie for so long. It was actually supposed to come out in October. which is around my birthday time. And so I was super excited for it. I was like, this is awesome. And then it got delayed to oblivion, and nobody knew when it was actually going to come out. And then finally, at the beginning of this year, it was announced that it was going to come out in June. And I mean, I love the Spider-Verse 1 so much. I've watched it a ton of times. I bought it on Blu-ray Steelbook. I paid $40 for it, I'm sure. And I love that movie so much, of how intuitive it is. And when I heard that they were doing a sequel, nervous, but after seeing some of the trailers, I think they're going to be able to capture the same magic. And I hope that they are able to keep on experimenting with the animation style and make it just as good of a story and compelling and also beautiful to watch as they did the first one, even though that seems like lightning in a bottle. So I have high hopes, and hopefully that they will be at least matched going into it. So I'm very much excited for this movie.
Yeah. The only reason why I didn't pick Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is, again, I don't think it's going to have a problem making any money at the box office this June. Like you, I love Into the Spider-Verse. I got to see it in the theater. I then saw it again in 3D. By the way, if you get to ever see it in the theater in 3D, it's amazing. I don't know how, like, some folks are, got vision problems or whatever. They can't tolerate that. But if you can, do it. It was fantastic, amazing 3D experience. Again, I also own it on streaming. I own it on iTunes. I have no idea how many times I've seen it. It's a fantastic movie. Nothing before it existed. But then it made as much money as it did. And guess what? It also won the Academy Award for Best Animated Film the year it came out. So a sequel was inevitable. And I am not impressed with the trailer. So I don't know if I'm just like being cautious or pessimistic. But best case scenario, it's a great goddamn movie. But right now, it's I'm not looking forward to it. Of course, I'm going to go see it because I really like that first one a lot. So fingers crossed, knock on wood, that I hope it's a good time.
Yeah, I'm going to take your advice and go see it in 3D. Maybe not the first time I go see it. I kind of don't. Maybe I'll see it once, and if it's good enough to see it again, I'll try to dabble in 3D and see it second time. And yeah, I can see where maybe you're being a little cautious, because I too am like worried that maybe I'm too hyped on the first one, and then if I don't feel like it even touches that one, that it's going to be an utter disappointment. And it can still do a lot of good things, but maybe I don't want, like, I just don't want to cloud myself being like, it has to be at like a 10 and it can't go anything below that. Even if it's on like a 9.5, it feels like a disaster or something. So yeah, I need to like hype myself down a little bit. I'm just excited that it's finally coming out. And yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to be one of my favorite movies of the year, but you never know.
We need to put that on a t-shirt. Hype down.
Hype down.
Oh. Yeah, man, I got nothing else here. So yeah, we mentioned our top threes. We mentioned some blockbusters. You took us through the month of June, which is like eye-opening. And there's a weekend in April, there's a weekend in May, and there's a weekend in June where there's like 3 or 4 projects I want to see all on that same weekend, and it's going to be physically impossible to do that. And schedule-wise, I'm just never probably going to be able to do all that. But all right. Drew Angelman, you have the YouTube channel, Angelcake Entertainment. You got anything special coming out this week, or anything people should focus on?
I'm actually wrapping up the third and final part of the giant documentary that I've been making on a certain challenger, Cara Maria. So I'm looking forward to getting that out by April 10th. Hopefully, I'm wrapping it up. I'm getting it prepped, and then I got to make sure it passes the algorithm and all the ad revenue stuff. And then after that, I'm getting back to doing weekly uploads, extra weekly uploads, meaning I'll be posting like 3 or 4 videos a week. So I'm looking forward to getting back into a rhythm that way, because it just feels like I've been working and dragging my feet on forever. But it's funny that I say that, because after I get this one out, I'm going to be making a bigger documentary on an even bigger player that I'm hoping to get out in October. So I got to get done with this one and get right into working on the next one. So, but it's fun. It's good. I'm excited.
That's what's up. So I do some things around here. You can find me on the other YouTube channel, the Waffle Box Pod. It's the original Waffle Box. You accept no substitutes because it is the best part of Wednesdays. Me and friend of the family, Mike Fish, we talk about everything and nothing all at the same time. This weekend, you're going to see a review for the movie Tetris, which is the biopic, for lack of a better term, of how the video game Tetris was created. It can only be seen on Apple TV, but the review will be here on YouTube in its long form with the actual Waffle Box episode, as well as its own individual review. So you can find everything as well on the bosnet.family. So for Drew Angelman, I've been Kush Hayes. You've been you.
Microdose, 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 yeah, microdose.
From the Bosnet family.
Nice.